on time. Look at that, bang on time.
Oh,
well,
awesome.
good afternoon, Doctor. Or should I say, sorry, good evening, Dr. Silkman.
Yes. Good evening, Paul.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure.
I'm trying to think. I invited you quite a while back, and at the time you were sort of, Paul, and said I'm not really into stepping up and being on screen and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Fortunately, things have changed.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
I find that it's important that people put a name to a face. Who's this person doing all these podcasts and discussions and it's a human side, and I think it's important to have that connection with people, especially in cases like this. And it took a while, but at the end of the day, I thank you very much, Paul, for giving me the courage and others to do the same. It's been awesome.
I think what happens is you get to the point where you start thinking about it. Could I do this? Could I? I was the same. For 6 months, I'm thinking, should I have a go at this? And then eventually decided, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll see what it's all about.
Correct.
And my initial.
Yes.
So,
I was going to say, if the number of our subscribers goes to 0, then they don't like looking at me. So far it's been pretty good, which is awesome.
Well, yes, let's first of all, say many congratulations to the Foul Play channel for hitting the 1,000 subscribers in about 6 months.
I think it was around about 8 or 9 months.
Oh, right,
total.
okay. Yeah.
So we're only about 9 months young.
Yep.
And it's, to be honest, it's never been really that important for me to get 1,000 subscribers, but it's a start. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder the other day, Paul, and said, "Oh, do you realize that PewDiePie's got 104 million?" I thought, oh well, but does he know about the case though?
That's what he needs to know. And I when it comes to these all these channels cropping up, I think it's sometimes when I send messages to people, for example, certain experts and people, I'll often introduce the fact that I'm part of a network of people who are determined to try and do something about the case, and to say that there is this huge, substantial network of supporters out there doing everything that they can to try and help Steve and Brendan and find out what happened.
Awesome. It's truly awesome. Something that I had never expected. If I could just give a little bit of a spiel in the background.
Absolutely, yes.
I spent many years working on the Jfk assassination.
Right.
And I actually started in 1985 when I was still at university.
Wow.
And I had gone on for a long period of time. And there was none of this. I mean, there were research groups, and of course we had our lone nutters, and we also had people that believed that Lee Harvey Oswald was innocent. So we had the same type of passion, vitriol, trolls, you name it. So it never really occurred to me that there were all these other research groups on YouTube involving true crime and wrongful convictions, and it really opened my eyes. The Kennedy assassination is huge. It still is very relevant to this day, but oh my God, you need to wear a coat of armor to do research in that. It's very vitriolic, even though it happened in 1963.
I was going to ask what year was it, because you and I wouldn't have been born then.
No, I was 2 years old.
Oh, right.
I'm approaching 59, but I was only a little tacker. But the Kennedy assassination is huge and still very relevant today. But oh my Lord, this case that you and I and a lot of other people are doing now with the Stephen Avery Brendan Dassey case, it's on another level.
Yes,
on another level.
Yeah. Interesting, the JFK case. You know that Jerome from the French Wrecking Crew, he's also done quite a lot of. he was telling me that he was very much interested in both the JFK and the Zodiac serial killer, and has done a lot of research on those two. So
yes,
cases which, well, obviously JFK, it seems unlikely that he was shot by this Lee Harvey Oswald, doesn't it?
No. I spent more than 20 years.
Yeah.
And then I got really serious. Then I started doing all these projects and assignments. I now no longer do any JFK research because the trolls are very vitriolic, and a lot of them are actually paid informants.
Oh, yes.
They come in, and the CIA was really funny. The CIA actually has a manual, and it says how to deal with the press and negativity, and how to basically make people think that they're going crazy, pull the rug under their feet.
Yes.
It can get really nasty. And I did several projects on the JFK assassination, and I named names involving police corruption in the Dallas police force. And oh my God, I put it this way, I got very, very close. And I basically worked out this important piece of forensic evidence that was stuffed up completely by the police and the FBI, and I tracked it. I read all the documents, and it's not like the case that we study now, the Brendan Dassey, Steve Avery, and other cases where everything's available online. The Kennedy assassination was very hard to get documents, and they had 26 volumes of evidence, right? The Warren Commission.
Wow.
And I read the majority of that, and I started to put together a hypothesis, and oh my God, I hit on something really, really big. And you could tell, because the closer you get to the truth, the more crap you attract from a lot of people that just come out of the woodwork, and you're thinking, this can't be good. And same with this case here, right? Same with the Steve Avery, Brendan Dassey case. You get people that just come out of the woodwork and cause trouble, stir trouble. If someone is close to essentially working out what happened, what transpired in those cases, and I believe we are very, very close. Oh my God, we are very close. Expect to cop a lot of flack, and amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting, as you say, when you get these people, trolls or whatever, the haters, you can tell that some of them that they actually are employed to do just that, to try and you remember when we saw that clip of the little bit of the trailer for Convicting a Murderer, the Sean Reck documentary, and you had Andy AC Rookie go in and speak to Kratz, and as soon as he came out with something that sort of to try and make Kratz stop and think, Kratz immediately went on the offensive and said, you must be into drugs or a crackhead and all this, and it's typical guilter mentality to try and twist it the other way and to answer a question with an aggressive question of your own. And it's all to try and make people feel uncomfortable, because if you're being polite to somebody and just asking a polite question, one to which you kind of know that they're going to struggle to answer, you can tell straight away that they're struggling to answer it by the fact that they then start getting nasty about it, abusive.
Yes. What they do is they don't actually attack the evidence anymore. They make it personal. They attack you, your family, your pets, your religion, the whole lot. And you're thinking, wait a minute, aren't we meant to be talking about the case? These guys are experts. But what you find, Paul, quite common, is that these guys do no research at all. They don't even know the fundamentals of the case. Their aim is to pull the string from the rug to make you fall. That's what they do. But if you are rock solid, and you've got a rock solid team behind you, and furthermore, if you reference everything, that's the way to do it. Like, here's documentary evidence, here's testimony, here's an audio clip, here's a photograph. You
Yes.
never
Yeah.
remember the most important thing, Paul, even with these cases, is if you don't know, best to admit it right up front.
Yeah.
And when you're speculating, best to say, I'm speculating, because I've seen too many people come up with these hypotheses and ideas and theories, but nothing to back them up. And so these individuals, they refuse to be flexible, and they always stick to one idea. In this case, you can't do it. You got to be on the fly. You got to be on the fly. You got to be flexible.
Yeah, it's certainly a case of knowledge is power. I think Eric Ozee keeps going on about this. The more that we arm ourselves with examples and evidence, when people say, oh, well, the state wouldn't do this, the police wouldn't do that, you can say, well, hold on a sec, look at this particular case. Look at this particular case. It's been solved. That's exactly what happened. Exactly what I'm saying is happening here has happened before. And what you're saying it doesn't happen?
Correct.
It does.
If you look at the JFK assassination, it wasn't just him. If you look at the 60s, you've got Martin Luther King, and you've got his brother Robert F. Kennedy. You got and plenty more. They were political kills. They were political hits. They basically changed the course of history. And you're thinking, no way could these particular individuals be involved. Oh yes, they are. Just look what happened at Watergate, right? It's the same players, the same guys, the same players. You look at Brendan Dassey, you look at the Stephen Avery case, especially with Stephen. It's the same guys that were in 85 that were around now with Teresa Warbucks. All they did is up the game, up the ante, right? They tried their best with Penny, right? And just by a miracle of God, i.e. one pubic hair, he got out. And that's it. He got out with one pubic hair. Otherwise, he still would have been in prison. So bad thing. People do bad things, and when you think about how much power someone in law and someone in the forensic laboratory has, oh my God! Like I just saw, if I could just divulge a little bit, I saw the Netflix series. I think it was Netflix about to do with the drug scandals that happened. I think it was Boston. I think it was. There were two.
How to fix a drug scandal? Yes. Yeah.
Like I'm looking at this, I'm going, oh no, here we go. Like two laboratory techs. One of them was just making up the results, right? Just filling up any form. Oh yeah, cocaine. Yep, heroin. And the other one was permanently high for years, right? And so you're thinking, wait a minute, if they're handling the evidence, which case is fair and correct, and which case has to be thrown out? So in the end, I think it was between 10 to 20,000 cases had to be overturned because they couldn't vouch for the validity of the results. To me, Paul, this is the genesis of the importance of what's happening with Stephen Avery, right? And part of his civil lawsuit, because you can betcha that had Stephen been successful, everyone in prison would have put up their hand and said, wait a minute, those forensics were done in that crime laboratory by Sharik O'Hain and his other guys. I want a retrial. I want my case retried or thrown out. So there was potentially a lot at stake, Paul. You can see it. So
basically, there are people in power who want to preserve the status quo, and they feel threatened by people coming along and that are going to disturb that, and they're going to expose the potential. I mean, certainly, the How to Fix a Drug Scandal. That was an Annie Ducombe and a Sonia Farak, wasn't it?
Correct.
And I don't know about you, but did you cheer when they mentioned all those thousands of cases were being thrown out?
Yeah, because they actually showed the mountain of paper pulps. Of all the cases that had to be shredded. And what's amazing, I think it was the DA who said, oh, there's only 2 cases affected. There's only 2 cases affected. But it took that guy, that investigative
Luke Ryan, yeah.
I'm not quite sure what his legal background was, but he FOIA'd all the documents. He got all the documents, and oh my lord, this lady had mental health issues, which are nothing to joke about. They're serious.
No.
Back on the day she started,
Yeah.
and she had openly admitted to her counselors, I'm taking drugs. She was using all the standard solutions, which were all pure, right, in the lab. She was constantly on a high. And not only that, nobody checked up on her because she used to go out and smoke.
No drug testing. Yeah, but no random drug testing. You're working in a drug laboratory, so,
yes,
it's crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but they here in the UK, there was much speculation a few years back about introducing random drug testing, even in UK schools. And the consensus opinion was, well, most of the kids will be all right, but the teachers won't be.
Correct.
But if you're running a drug laboratory, there has to be, I would say, pretty tight standards. I mean, basically, what the woman Sonia Farak was doing was stealing drugs from the state.
Correct. She basically the laboratory, the drug dealers, and the people having those drugs, they were her supplier, and she got them for free. So she was on a. But the tragedy is that Farak, in particular, was a very intelligent, highly motivated, highly skilled individual who thought, oh, well, I'll take a couple of helpers and I can work long hours in the lab like the other girl who basically was working 4 times as many cases as anybody else. And nobody thought, wait a minute, we better double check this, right? And when they did, it's a shocker, right? With Sharik Cohen, you have the same problem. They have a contamination book in their lab, right?
Yes.
And the amount of contamination events that took place in that lab, I read the contamination booklet, right? Because I studied a lot on Cohen. They got DNA cases that weren't even involved in the investigation. How do we get this guy's profile? He doesn't, he's not even involved in the case, right? So it's very, very easy to do. Very easy to do. And so, you're right, Paul. You don't have to look for an example. Netflix has got all the examples you want. It's all,
absolutely.
He's got one series after the next, right? And the best one that I saw was with Dr. West, the bite mark analysis. And those poor guys one of them was on death row, right? And one guy had spent 33 years in prison. Now, don't laugh, because Sharik Cohen used hair evidence against Stephen Avery back in 85, which was pure garbage. She would have been a young woman, and she gave an opinion, right? An opinion, and they hung them on it.
I mean, when you look at a lot of these cases, you find that the experts will come in and they'll testify to the fact that it's a possible match, and they'll do it in such a way as to say, well, based on my scientific evidence, I cannot exclude that person as possibly being the person. And then 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours later, the district attorney will then say, you heard it from the expert. That matches this. And he never said any such thing. But they're very slippery in what they say in courts, aren't they?
Yes. Basically, Paul, they cover themselves.
Oh yeah.
So if a mistake is made, they'll say, well, I gave a statistic, I gave a number. Oh, jeepers, I just happened to be wrong. So they're bulletproof, right? If a mistake is made, like Dr. West said, if a mistake is made, we can open the door and let them out. Well, thank you. 33 years behind bars in a cell, and you can just let them. Crazy. And even when you think about it, even compensation, even if it's millions, if you spend half your life in a cell, what are you going to do with it? It's terrible. You can't get those years back. So it's and also the classic case was that forensic laboratory guy that planted blood in a car to
Yes.
convict two cousins involved in this horrendous murder because he was under pressure.
Yeah.
He reported, I can't find anything. Everything is clean. Everything is good.
Yeah.
He basically contaminated the crime scene with a drop of blood. And he goes, oh, it belongs to this guy, these guys here. Until the real killers confessed and said, no, it was us.
Yeah.
And I think they were from Wisconsin too.
They were from Wisconsin, and the case
from Wisconsin.
Yeah. And the case revolved around they found a ring, and they were able to find out where the ring was made, who it was sold to. But yes, David Kofod was the police. He was the top dog when it came to forensics in. Correct. I can't remember what state it was. Was it Ohio? I can't remember the state it was in. It's a couple of states along from Wisconsin, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, shocking case. But of course, what was interesting was he said that he found this blood or this DNA,
in the car. In the car. In a inaccessible place.
Yes.
He put a piece of tape and he goes, oh, let's see what this is.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Jean Couché, he said it best. Of course, DNA evidence can be fabricated.
Yeah.
Oops. I bet you Kasurik wasn't too happy with that one.
Well, it was his one moment of honesty. I'll give him that much.
Correct. Because he believed that his drawing usurped any form of forensic evidence. He was a good drawer, right? And he framed the drawing that he drew out. He stuck it on his wall.
I mean, evidence in a case. So that's kept in evidence storage. Oh no, I'm putting it up on my wall. So that everybody in those 18 years that comes to his office knows to associate him with the framing of Stephen Avery.
Correct. And so to them, it's like a badge of honor.
Yes.
Look what I did, and my drawing got him convicted. Ha ha ha. Forget forensics, forget DNA. Because remember, what we mustn't forget, Paul, is that the Wisconsin State Crime Lab would have gone through a transition, right? They would have gone from old school techniques, right, to new school techniques, DNA, right?
Yep.
And Culhane had just a science degree, so you could imagine all these new machineries that would have arrived in the lab. And she would have been told, right, you set it up, you get it going, right? And so it would have been horrendous to set this system up. And the police, the investigators would have dropped in 10, 20, 30 samples and said, right, I want a result tomorrow. Yeah. It's a disaster. Disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly in the case of West and Haynes, it's something I've been looking at, and same idea there. You've got the one guy that we never hear mentioned. We only hear him mentioned a couple of times in the first episode of the Innocence Files. Is actually Michael West's partner in crime, this Stephen Hayne, and he was doing something like 1,500 autopsies a year when maximum you're meant to be doing like between 200 and 300. One a day, or just around about one a day is. Look,
at the end of the day, Paul, it was a money-making exercise, right? So
very much so.
Ship them in, ship them out, give me the cash, right?
Yeah,
and I think absolutely. They set up like a mortuary in some shop at the back of someone's shop.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're thinking, wait a minute, what's going? But that's how they did it. And if you notice, they all work as a team.
Yeah.
So they tag team each other. Oh, you do this analysis. I do this analysis. We all get paid. Thank you very much.
And the other side to that is the fact that whilst they're doing very well, all of the sheriffs and DAs are getting these guys as experts, because basically they will agree to anything as long as they're getting paid to say it. And therefore they come in as experts. The jury hears them. They think, well, if the state are using them, they must be correct.
Correct. And you see, the thing with Dr. West in particular was that he baffled everyone with bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he bought his 28-page CV, says, what, you're going to challenge this? Look at all the degrees I've got on my wall. You're
Yeah.
going to challenge me. And that's what happens. It perpetuates, right? It perpetuates.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really am with Chris Fabricant when it comes to the idea that, you know, you should really just get rid of all this, any notion of bite mark analysis, unless, as the one guy pointed out, unless you can exclude somebody by saying their mouth is bigger than that or their mouth is smaller than the marks.
Yeah.
Just scrap it. It's just bogus science.
Correct.
It's, you know, and
Correct.
it's causing a lot of damage. It really is.
Well, yeah.
And
yeah,
has done.
I mean, the problem is that once those secret tapes were released of Dr. West, how he only had the top jaw, the dentures from the top, and he was basically swiveling the teeth until it's sort of like partially matched. Well, excuse me, how exactly did this person actually bite the victim?
Yeah,
with just the upper jaw? You can't
exactly.
do it.
Exactly.
And you know what was even worse? It was the guru who put, who was that mass murderer, the serial killer?
Fred Bundy.
Bundy, he put him in prison. He's the one. The West hero said to West, he's all junk. This is crap. So
David Silveron.
Silveron. Imagine your idol saying to the student, get out of here. It's all garbage. And Dr. West, he had to do a deposition. He swore his head off. He called everyone an effing idiot, including the guy that was questioning him. Yeah. You're a dickhead. Right? Well, and he wanted to be paid.
He did. He did, yes. He expected to be paid for his time there doing the interview. But no, it's, again, when you look at Mississippi, I haven't just read the book, you know, Radley Belko goes right into the history of the system there and how, you know, you can trace it way back to, you know, the grotesque times in the 1800s when, for example, somebody might be lynched and the coroner, cause of death, unknown.
Yes, they just happen to be swinging from a tree, but no one knows what happened.
Perpetrators unknown.
Yeah,
you know, and it's the carry on from that. It's the modern day equivalent of we will get you however we want you.
Well, that's the scary thing. From researching this case, the Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey case, these guys are bulletproof. The prosecutors are bulletproof. The judges have got no flipping idea what's going on. And so they believe that they can do anything that they want, whenever they want. They're very, very powerful and people are scared, right? People are scared. And no one challenges them. Stephen Avery did, right? If you go through the history of what happened to him and you go through the chronology, he basically had enough. And I think what tipped the what broke the straw or whatever it is the saying to the camel's back is when Peg Lockenschlager basically said, "What problem? I see no problem."
Yeah.
And then to have the audacity to blame the victim.
Yeah.
Right? To blame, it's Penny's fault. Why? Oh, well, she pointed out Stephen, but Peg never mentioned the fact that they actually guided her to Stephen by holding up all these pieces of paper with two black eyes, bruises, just sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, yeah. And even then, in fairness to Penny, she did go to the sheriff and say, "Are you sure you've got the right guy?"
Correct.
You know, and so did the police department. So did people within the actual district attorney's office. They're all saying, you know, it wasn't Steve, it's this Greg. And of course, Vogel knew this, but Kasurek wanted Steve taken down for it.
Look, I mean, today, I just had to stop because I went through all the history again just to go over it, and I thought, oh my God, I'm gone crazy because one feels so angry inside when because now we've got the benefit of hindsight, right, Paul? We can see the progression. But back then, no one had any idea. You had this scumbag called Stephen Avery. He did this horrible thing to a model citizen, a beautiful lady, right? that has got a candy store with a husband, and they're probably church-going Christian, the whole lot. And you got this scruff of a guy that no one cared about. Well, the sheriff and the DA thought, we can get rid of this scumbag for a long, long time. Right? But when you go through the case, when you uncover all the shenanigans, oh my God, you can't believe it. But the hatred for him, the hatred for his family, I've never seen. This is like this is at the mafia level, right?
It is.
This is mafia level. And this is law enforcement who've decided, right, they're going to take out this family, or families. And I reckon this war has been going on, Lord knows for how long.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a shocker.
Yeah. As I say, certainly is designed to, as you say, to maintain the people in power. You know, a lot of them they grew up, they went through the system themselves, so they are simply preserving their sort of the system for the people coming up behind them.
The hate is generational.
Yeah.
The mentality is generational, and for some unknown reason, it happens in two organizations all the time: law, the lawyers, the judges, the legal profession, and law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right? Where you do a favor for me, I do a favor for you. Keep it in the family. Oh, you got no chance in hell.
Well, yes, certainly. Reading John Farrak's book, the interesting thing about Shurak, and you kind of guessed it before reading the book, was that you know, if something went wrong with a say a young officer who's just joined, if he did something wrong, rather than being disciplined for it, Shurak would say, "I'll take care of that. I'll get rid of that." But then you're in his pocket, and when he wants you to do something as a return favor, you're not going to argue with him, are you? You're just going to do it because in fact, Paul, all you got to do is watch The Godfather, right? Yeah. He just watched The Godfather. Yeah. Yes. When The Godfather wants to call in a favor, he just calls your name. You don't even question. He just calls a name. You have to do whatever he says. And when you've got that mentality in a police force, right, or the MTSO, how are you going to get rid of that if it's generational, right? Sure. You need a commission to come in from the top and work all the way down. Very much so, yeah. The other interesting one I watched was the killing of Malcolm X, and same sort of scenario there. The guy Muhammad Elijah or whatever his name was that was running the sort of the main mosques in New York and Harlem. He didn't need to say, "I want you to take him out." They just said, "We need you to sort this out." And there were people volunteering to do it, you know, to go and look. We all know, because we can look back now, but the 60s was just, I think LBJ said, it's murder incorporated, right? So they wanted to hit, no matter who it was, anybody stirring civil unrest in the eyes of the leaders, they were taken out. It didn't matter whether you were the president or the leader of a religious group or movement. Absolutely. They wanted to take you out, they took you out. Simple as that. Yeah. I just wanted to sort of come back to what I was actually going to ask you first of all, but then we got all carried into the case and stuff, and it's been great. And believe it or not, 35 minutes later, and it feels like we've been sat chatting for about 5 minutes, doesn't it? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But no, what I was going to ask, the sort of standard question: how did you? You've explained how you got into the JFK case. But how did you first get into the making a murderer phenomenon? Well, really by complete fluke. Yeah. I had gotten out of JFK, had enough. Yeah. I did a lot of work, many years, good work, a lot of projects, but I couldn't stand it anymore. And just by chance, you go on news groups and things like that, and they said, you got to watch this program called Making a Murderer. Yes. Right? And I'm there,
Get out. I was not into any of these shows whatsoever. I
Yeah.
promise. None whatsoever. And we didn't have Netflix at my
Sure.
home. So by chance, my son got a subscription to Netflix. And again, I didn't watch it. But the rumblings were there.
Yeah.
Right? You had petitions, you had hundreds of thousands of signatures, you had the president. What the hell? So
Yeah.
by chance, I said, okay, we got Netflix. Let me just have a look. I'll look at one episode. Give me 5 minutes and I'll go. Typical American
Yeah.
rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the first episode. My
Yeah.
jaw just hit the ground. I thought,
Yeah.
no, this is fake. This got to be fake, right? They've
Yeah.
got to all be actors. Because I'm there, wait a minute, how come there's a cameraman in these people's homes? How come there is a camera crew in the courtroom? And how come they're
Yeah.
talking to all these people as if it was live? Only
Yes.
to realize it was live.
Yeah.
Right? I thought, no. They've got to be actors.
Yes.
Then, having done a bit more research, I realized that there were real people going in real time, just like the guy in the staircase did. Right? You got a camera crew and got all that stuff. But this was different. This was on a huge scale. I saw episode 1. 10 hours later,
Yeah.
I watched the whole lot in one hit.
Yeah.
And I think I swore. No,
Yeah.
first of all, I was numb. I never
Yeah.
said a word. Like, I didn't believe what I just saw. And that this can't be real. And then I started swearing a real lot. And then by chance, I went onto YouTube. Oh, my Lord. It's all these people who are working on these cases. And I must admit, I went everywhere just to get ideas, what people were talking. And I realized I was so far behind in terms of where people were up to.
Right.
The analysis, I saw Eric Cozy, Rubber Ducky, there was Purpleplex. I think you were around
Casey Martinson.
Yeah, there was a whole lot. And all I did was I just sat in chat, terrified. I never said a word. I never said a word. You know why?
Well, like I said to you earlier, I recognize the name because your name reminds me of a famous band. And
yes.
And then, did you say you were in the chat and then
started
to get a bit more vocal?
Well, I did because to my excitement, the forensics was all DNA, right?
Yes.
And I thought, you got a PhD in all of this. You've done all of this. You've done all of this DNA research. So what I did, I went back to the original documents, Paul.
Yeah.
Right? Cohen. Right?
Oh.
I read all the reports. I was horrified. Right? And then I went back to the trial testimonies. And I'm thinking to myself, you've got to be joking. How did they reach this conclusion from this crappy piece of science? Right? And so once you learned the history, the mere fact that the MTSO had a go at him previously with Penny, and he had been wrongfully accused, was in prison for 18 years. Yes, he did run his cousin off the road, and he was going to pay the price for that. He accepted that. But the rape, the sexual assault of Penny, it was a horror show. Then I started to answer questions, right, and actually be involved. And people were very impressed. And I originally joined up. I got all these invites, like from everywhere. And I thought, what do they want me for, right? What do they want me for? Because there was a lot of people discussing various aspects of the case.
Yes,
And when I first joined, I joined up with Rubber Ducky. And the work that she was doing back then was fantastic because it was very, very case focused. And I joined her group. There was, I can't remember how many of us there were, but it was a roller coaster ride. But boy, did I learn a lot of stuff. So, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And obviously, I get a hint of Australian accent there.
Me, Australian.
Yeah,
I was born in Australia.
yeah.
My heritage is Italian.
All
Obviously,
right.
my mum and dad. My mum
Yeah,
and dad came from Italy,
right.
but I was born here. All my
Yeah,
cousins and relatives were overseas, still
yeah,
are overseas, and it was me and my Australian friends basically.
yeah,
Very much Australianized the Australian culture,
yeah,
but I still remember my roots, of course. So
yeah.
I'm a bit 50-50. So yeah, it's discovering the YouTube channels and the
Sure.
Discord.
Yeah.
My family wants to kill me because I'm always on all the
No.
time. But I tell you what, these cases have just, it's done. I had a full crop of hair when I started the game. I haven't got any hair now. I'm pulling it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned a lot.
Which
And of
part of
course,
Italy originally?
my mum was from Naples and my dad was
All right.
from Rome. Both my parents
Well,
have passed away now, but yeah, a very volatile combination, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
well,
especially if you're from Rome.
believe it or not, the Capaldi family originate from Monte Cassino, which is right
Okay.
between Rome and Naples.
Yeah.
You have a
Yes.
famous battle there, the Battle of Monte Cassino.
All
Yeah.
the time. All the time. All the time. So now, as you know, I'm part of Foul Play.
Yes.
We formed a new group, and yeah, it's been a
Well,
rocky road, but I tell you what, I'm very lucky. I've got a group of incredibly talented, incredibly passionate, and believe me, we have a lot of heated discussions all the time, but we try to make it a very safe environment in which,
yeah.
no matter what theory you believe in, we
Sure.
can still all get along well.
Yeah.
But as any group, you have your ups and downs, you have your turmoil, but somehow, hopefully, we're progressing in the right direction, and
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
Yeah. Very much a team. There's no I in team, is there? And
No,
that's the thing that's
no, no.
impressed.
There are people in my group. A lot of them come from America,
Yep.
and some are very close to Wisconsin.
Hmm.
And I know Millbilly is from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Their local knowledge,
Yes.
it's invaluable. Oh yeah, I went to Cuss Road. I went here. I went to the deer cave, and you're thinking, oh my God, you
Yeah.
went there? You're crazy. You're never going to come out. So to get that local knowledge, Paul, is fantastic, right? I mean, I'm from Australia. I've got no idea apart from pictures and images, but just discussing to people like BB,
Yeah.
to people like Sammy, and also Millbilly. You get the local, and also, of course, Rubber Ducky. She's from
Yep.
Wisconsin, and you get that connection.
You do.
Know that some of those places, they're no-go zones. You don't go to Cuss Road. You don't go to the deer camp. It's scary. It really is. Yeah.
I must admit, when I was there last year, we did tour what you would call the main sort of touristy spots, if they can be described in terms of being touristy spots. But
Yes.
in years to come, I seriously think that there will be a situation, down the road where one of the Wisconsin tourist attractions will be, here is the Avery Salvage Yard, which led to all this,
Yeah.
making a murder, and led to the reforms that we're now seeing, and the way that things are trying to change.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say that, of course, so basically within Foul Play, although it's only been going, as you say, about 9 months, you've got some people there that have got a lot of history in the case.
Look, the thing is, Paul, you've got to corroborate and collaborate with people, right? Because people have got different skill sets and people have got different knowledge bases. With me, I just happened to be by fluke a molecular biologist. I taught medicine. I taught medical students. I know a lot of the medical stuff. I know all the DNA stuff, right? But I have no idea about the local knowledge, the law enforcement, the legal system. Whereas there are those that cite the right specific rule of Wisconsin, and you go, oh my God, right? So there's nothing wrong with a form of collaboration, because
Absolutely.
by joining forces, yes, we're all individuals. We all got different, desires and outcomes in the case. But by getting together and collaborating with others, the amount of stuff you can bring together is phenomenal, right?
Yep.
Like Millbilly, for example, I was on one of his lives. We talked about RAV4, which was a blast, right? 1 RAV, 2 RAV. I reckon there's 1.5 RAVs, right? I call it
There must be at least.
RAV.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we had a discussion yesterday on Cuss Road, and it's the first time the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I thought, oh my God, this guy's cracked it. This guy's cracked the case. He's cracked the case, because all of us, we're all suspicious. We know the rough outline of what happened.
Yeah.
We know that Cuss Road is important.
Oh,
Kathleen Zellner points to Cuss Road, and
Yes.
here's Millbilly with his phone calls, and they're talking about Teresa Warbucks, ambulances, west of the Avery salvage yard. We have to expand the crime scene by 2 miles. We're finding bones, and that mentioned body, and all of a sudden the penny is dropped, and you're thinking, oh my God, there it is. It's out there. It is out there. The penny has dropped, and now one can build a picture of what took place, and by people coming together, right? Put your ego at the door, have a discussion, put your evidence forward, put it all together, you make a story. And that's precisely what Kathleen Zellner's going to do with the forensic evidence, right?
Yes.
She's going to tear it apart. How did she do it? Was she a molecular biologist? No. Was she a blood spatter expert? No. Did she know anything about burning bodies? No. She got the best of the best, and they all came together.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. You cannot beat that.
Yeah. Certainly, one of the things that you soon learn when you're running a band is, if you get the chance of bringing in, the best players, do so, because whilst it sometimes, somebody might feel intimidated by the fact that person might have more knowledge on some aspect of music. Use that to your advantage. Don't be afraid of that. As you say, she brought in the best experts, and that's what the case is crying out for, is for experts to actually look at the case.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. It might not be a good one for a scientist. You might not like this one, but looking at your sort of silver ball. You mentioned about, obviously, the Penny Bernstein case. It was the single pubic hair that exonerated Steve.
Yeah.
Purely speculation, hypothetical speculation. What do you think is the one bit of evidence that's going to be the equivalent to the pubic hair this time? What's your...
Idamophil.
Yeah.
Idamophil. because those effing idiots from the state backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
It would have been the pelvic bone found in the Manitowoc County gravel pit. That would have sunk them. And I could talk for 7 hours on that one alone. But Idamophil is going to sink them, right?
Yeah.
Because Kratz was a real crafty bastard.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He goes, oh, we got Idamophil, right? We found 2 bullet fragments. We've got 2 cranial fragments. Both of them have got beveling in them. And we found with radio opaque flecks of lead, right? Oh, we got it stoned. And if you see the episode where they talk about Idamophil, the whole courtroom was in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Brendan Dassey said, my uncle shot her.
Yeah.
In the head 10 or 11 times. Oh my God. They go there, they find Idamophil. That's it. Stephen, Brendan, sunk, slam,
Yes.
dunk.
Yeah.
What did Kathleen Zellner do?
Yeah.
She said to Stephen, I'm going to use scientists. If you're guilty, I'm going to tell the world that you're guilty. Stephen goes, go
Fine.
for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. So the state said, probably thought, what's she going to do with item FL? No problem.
Yes.
It's got her. It's got Teresa Warbucks DNA on there. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it in the bag, right?
Yeah. Happy to
Well,
hand it over.
she did the right thing. She did all double blind studies. She got I think it was Dahan. I
Yeah.
forgot the name. Haig, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did the shooting of the bullets through the bovine shoulders, right?
Yes.
So he got exemplar bullets that went through bone. No
Yeah.
dispute. It went through bone. He gave it to Palanek. He examined it. He goes, it's got bone flecks. It's got bone shards in it because the lead is soft, right? And he proved it chemically that it was bone, right?
Yeah.
That's exemplar bullet number 1, right? Next thing she did, she goes, all right, let's have a look at item FL, right? It's got to have bone in there, right? Because cranial hit the skull, went through in, out, has to have bone shards in there. when Palanek looked at it and said, I hate to tell you this, there's no bone shards, but there's wood and there's red paint and there's wax and there's also hair fibers like from a Q-tip, right?
Yes.
Right. And that means that it never struck bone because she had the comparative bullet to prove it. So what she did, she goes, all right, I'm going to go to Stephen's garage. I'm going to fire bullets through his wall, right?
Yep.
Because when she went there, she saw bullet holes in the wall. She goes, that's what bloody happened. Someone shot a bullet from the outside, went in and dropped on the ground.
Yep.
So she fired bullets through the shed. She gave it a Palanek. He goes, yep, there's wood shards here. And oh yes, there's some red stuff here as well, because the wall, I think on the inside was colored red as well.
Yes.
Ken Kratz had to do a retraction in his book. Oh yeah. I never said it hit bone. It went through her body. The moment he said it went through her body, his credibility went to zero. Why? He's speculating.
Yeah.
Right? And so you got Cohane, you got caught red-handed contaminating the negative control, the PCR negative control. You've got Cohane who went to the Milwaukee laboratory to get somebody else to sign it because she knew her supervisor, Marie Variali, would have said, you got to be effing kidding. You want me to sign this with a negative control when our own rules state, chuck it out?
Absolutely.
And to make matters worse, because she's got the highest contamination record in the lab, that means that she's got contamination at her workbench.
Yes.
Right? And as a consequence of that, she also extracted Teresa Warbucks DNA at the same time at her bench. Now, I've worked with DNA 30 years, right? DNA, it's very easy to contaminate equipment, tubes, your fingers, everywhere. It's like an aerosol, right? You look at the coronavirus.
Well, I was going to say the coronavirus, how easily it spreads. Yeah.
It occurred in China.
Sure.
It's killed hundreds of thousands of people all around the globe.
Yeah.
It hasn't got DNA, it's got RNA, but it's spread, right? And you trying to tell me Cohane is the cleanest, a laboratory technician there? Nah. So now she's got two things. The state has got two things. It can either say item FL due to contamination by Cohane. Item FL is gone.
Yeah.
Or she can say, I deliberately contaminated item FL because the boss said, put her in the garage or the house. Oops. How do we know that? Because Fassbender too. So you've got the key to put her in the house and the bullet to put her in the garage.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So Kathleen Zellner now all she has to do is dangle Ida Mafel. They're gone, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that it was Wiegert who asked Brendan who shot her in the head.
Mm. Yeah.
So nothing came from Brendan. Nothing could be corroborated. Ida Mafel will sink him.
Yes. Yeah.
He'll sink him.
I mean, in terms of the cremains, we've got, I think it's 2/5 of the cremains, haven't we? And we've got none from the actual body, from the torso area, have we? We have nothing.
Well. You said the right thing, right? Had those idiots catalogued the bones properly, had Eisenberg said, well, she sort of did, right?
Mm-hmm.
She put them into different subgroups and she
Sure.
weighed them. We can actually work out what's missing, right? And so if it's from this part of your body that's missing, then we know what bloody Bushman found at Cuss Road.
Yeah.
Because the bones are missing from apparently the burn pit and also from the Manitowoc County gravel pit, right?
Yep.
So she catalogued, and also from Yonder burn barrel number 2. So if she did a proper cataloguing, we actually could have worked out what part of Teresa or the victim was actually missing.
Yep.
Now, only 35% of her skull was found, right? Where's the rest of her skull? Mm-hmm. Where are her teeth? Right?
Yeah.
Lord only knows what was found at Cuss Road. Lord only knows. But we could have worked it out, Paul. We could have worked it out.
The interesting thing, of course, about the teeth is that it's one of the things that would have instantly have been able to identify Teresa.
Correct.
It's interesting, isn't it? If one of my favorite films is the film Snatch, and you have this character called Bricktopper who, in one part of the scene, it's this famous quote. It says, do you know what nemesis means? And then he goes on to explain that apparently the way to get rid of a human body is to cut it up into several bits and then to feed it to pigs, because they will eat everything. But you must remove the teeth first. And the fact that there's no teeth, well, there was a fragment of a tooth.
There were roots.
2 fragments, right? Roots.
There were roots of a tooth. And what Simley, I think he's a doctor. I'm not sure whether he's a doctor or a professor. What he did was he glued them together.
Right.
And he said, it looks similar, but I can't make the call. Whereas King Kratz goes, 100% identification.
Should have sent them to Michael West. Michael West would have confirmed it for $750.
Correct.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside,
sure.
Someone knew what they were doing, right? Because they knew what could be used to ID the victim, right?
Sure.
So look at what we got. We got no teeth, and we got bone fragments that big. So someone knew what they were doing, right?
Yes.
And where's the other 60% of the skeleton?
Yeah.
And as the Dr. Symes said, he goes, and it was chilling because it was just before we did the live with Millbilly. He goes, I've been involved in a lot of cases where people dismember somebody and burn them. And they get, he said, they get frustrated because the torso is the hardest part to burn, right? Yeah. He goes, the ribs and the spinal column are very hard to burn. So what people do is they get frustrated and they get the torso and they bury it.
Yes.
Oh, my God. What do we got? We've got a hit by a Cremains dog and a scent dog. Yeah. Where? At Cuss Road, right? So I know I'm only speculating, but my God, it actually makes sense, right? The torso is the hardest part to burn. You bury it, right? Or you come back later to break it up and try and disseminate it as best that you can.
Although you're saying that we're speculating, we are a hell of a lot closer to knowing what happened to Teresa Warbucks or the victim than the Calumet and Manitowoc sheriffs ever did, because there was no interest in really trying to find out.
No. I think what Millbilly has put forward, it's the nail in the coffin. Mm-hmm. It's the so, like I said, the tragedy is had Eisenberg documented the bones properly, because she weighed them, right? Had she documented the bones properly and said, these are the bones that came here, these are the bones that were found there, we actually could have worked out what part of the victim was missing,
Yeah,
right? We actually could have worked it out. And like, where's the spinal column? Where are the ribs? There just seems
yes,
to be little bone fragments. And
absolutely.
because the morphology of the bones are very distinctive,
Hmm.
you can get a part of a spinal column, and 99% of people will say that's part of the spine. Right? And normally you've seen episodes like Bones, where they find the victim and they lay the bones out on a table, right? And they
Exactly,
say, "This is what we got. This is what we got. This is what's missing." All you got here was a box with bones.
exactly.
It's a forensic flippant nightmare, Paul.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? It's like a pizza in a box. And I'm
it
not
is.
trying to be disrespectful, but that's how badly it was done. It's like you went to the crematorium, scraped out the bones, put them in a box, and said, "Here you go. This is what I got."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. The, one of the problems with maybe it's the main problem with the investigation is always the fact that they don't want to investigate anything too far, because then that will point away from what they would want the investigation to try and prove, isn't it? I mean, we have apparently, do we have no DNA in the RAV4 or a little bit of Teresa? But, you know,
Yes. Well, I had the big argument with Millbilly. The fact is, they actually did find Teresa Warbucks DNA, if you
did they?
believe it. It was in the inner door handle of the driver's side, right?
Right.
So if you're faking a RAV, how did you just happen to get her DNA to put near the door handle? But there's none of Stevens anywhere apart
No.
from the 6 drops, right? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, right, the ruse was actually very simple. Put the RAV4 on the salvage yard, have her DNA in the RAV4, and
Yeah.
have Stevens' DNA in the RAV4 and walk away,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
then you could bring in everybody in with a search warrant to say, okay, mate, what's your blood doing in her RAV4, right?
Yeah.
But they knew that Stephen could have come up with a story, right? So what we get is the next level, right? Of the next level of findings. You have the key
Indeed.
that, because there's no forensic evidence of Teresa Warbucks ever being there, you
Yeah.
now have a key. So you have a personal item. Oh, that's not good enough, right? So what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to find cremains, right? Nobody finds any cremains for days.
That's
And the
right.
reason why is because they haven't found the stuff at the quarry yet, or
Yeah.
at the Cuss Road. So there's no
Absolutely.
cremains to put
Yeah.
down there, right?
Yeah.
Then they find the items in the burn barrel on Cuss Road at the deer camp, the electronics, right? I'm not sure what other items there were, the PDA, all the electronics. All they're going to do is just get the contents, put it in a tarp, and put it in somebody else's burn barrel and say, oh, yeah, that's what I found. I found
Yeah.
that in Stephen's burn barrel. So you can see that what they were doing was stepping up the game.
Yeah.
And to make it the finality, what do we get? We get hood latch DNA. Oh, Stephen must have been underneath the hood latch. Why? Because they knew that the battery had been changed, right?
Yeah.
So it had to
Yeah.
be Stephen. He had to disconnect it in case somebody came in with an alarm, just to find the RAV, And then what else? What else do we have? We've got the number plates as well, right? So Stephen was, well, he was a genius because he removed all the DNA and forensic evidence in his garage and trailer, but he overtly put the RAV4 out in the open, the number plates out in the open. He put the key in his own bedroom. right?
I was reading a bit about Dean Strang interviewing one of the experts on. I think it was Todd Herman about the RAV4. You know, being covered up with branches and bits of old hood and stuff. You know, and he said, but the one thing that puzzles me, you know, if you're going to cover up the vehicle, would you not want to cover up that bit on the back of the back door that says in big letters RAV4?
But you see, yeah, correct. But this is the problem that the investigators had, right?
Yes.
Pagel and I think it was Wendy Baldwin went in the aeroplane on the 4th,
Exactly.
and they did a big flyover. And because you've got that big sign that says Toyota RAV4, right, you're not going to miss it from the air, right? So that when I read the testimony, a drum, I think, was the pilot, they never spoke to him at all. No. They kept their mouths shut, because if they say, "Oh shit, there's no RAV4 down here. This doesn't look good," like Pagel and Baldwin never said a word. They spoke to Drum and said, "Was there any discussion?" Well, if they found something, they didn't tell me about it, right? And they went everywhere. Yeah. They went everywhere. There clearly was no RAV4 on the 4th. Right. Yeah. And then if you saw the presentations that I did as part of the coffee presentation about the lights that Stephen saw, that Chucky saw, and you've got all the drop calls by Ryan Hilligus, who had the day planner. Oh my God. It all matches perfectly. It's likely that Ryan drove it in. Yes. Somebody drove it in, put it there, or walked out. Or drove out, right? And drove out.
Do you think that maybe part of the reason for the flyover was for them to have a look at the yard and think that would be a good place to put it? Yeah.
Yep. And to prove it, right? If you're Stephen Avery, first of all, he said, "Look, if I did this, I would have taken it straight to the crusher." Yeah. Oh, he didn't have time. How does he know that he didn't have time? Right? He would have taken it straight to the crusher. No one would have found out, right?
Yeah.
What they did with the flyover, they thought, where's the best way to put this RAV4 to plant it? And if you notice, you got the RAV4, where is it? On the periphery. Where are the number plates? On the periphery. He's got 4,000 freaking cars there, and you find the most incriminating, damning evidence, easy picking. You can go on a Sunday stroll with your picnic basket and go, "Oh, there are number plates in that car. Oh, what's that newish blue, green RAV4 doing right there? Oh my God, it belongs to Teresa." Yep. There you go. Done. Yeah. Done. There was no disguising it.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous it was.
Okay. I know that I won't keep you much longer. I know that one of the things that you, like me, do is digest probably quite a lot, almost every documentary that comes out from Netflix. Which have been your favourites? Obviously, Making a Murderer must have been up there because you spent 10 hours watching it straight. But of the other ones, what's the ones that...
Mam 1 and Mam 2 were riveting. The other one that just blew my mind was the Innocence Files.
Yeah.
The one about the drugs. And yes. How can I forget the Central Park 5?
Sure.
That I think it was called When They See Us.
That's right. Yeah.
That blew my mind because when those African American young boys were being questioned, it was the read technique.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, Paul Brendan actually went through this, and they did the same thing. They put one boy against the other, and that's what they did with Brendan. They said, "You realise your uncle's going to blame you for everything."
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and sort of like, and that's exactly what they did with these African American boys. They ganged up on each other and they finger pointed each other, and they knew that none of those events took place, right? So sometimes when they see, now I'm watching Trial by Media.
Oh yeah.
How the media can turn a case one way or another, and it's like, Oh my God. But the other one that I saw, which was amazing, was a murder in the Bayou.
All right.
In the Bayou, in the murder in the Bayou. It was on Stan, I think it was. And it was
Right.
about those eight women who were all murdered within a very short time frame, and no one knows a damn thing. And what's remarkable is you can see the parallels. You know,
Yeah.
when people talk in Wisconsin about the club, right?
Yes.
Well, they had this sort of like hotel, which was a meeting place for drugs,
Mm.
sex, and gambling, and all these girls were involved in drugs and sex. All of them are dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows a thing. And there's a high degree of suspicion that the place was run by who else? The law enforcement people, because they were getting a cut
Yeah.
of all the,
Yeah.
oh man.
In sorry,
It's
the
scary.
bayou being that sort of is it called the Gulf Coast? It's that part, sort of New
I think
Orleans,
so.
Florida, New Orleans, around that area.
Yes.
Basically, what I would call Cajun country, where
Yes.
the Cajun music comes from. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
I believe so. I mean, geography-wise, I'm not 100%, but the
Sure.
parallels
Yes.
are scary,
Yeah.
absolutely scary. But these girls, no, they found no forensic evidence. No one knows a damn thing, and it's like it's only a small little community, and yet 8 girls end up dead, and no one knows any. And the sheriff keeps on saying, "Yeah, don't worry, we've got a task force here." And the rumors are it's the actual cops,
Yeah.
the actual police that are bumping these girls up because they have seen and heard of stuff. And then there's this other prison guard. Oh my lord! I
Yeah.
won't say anything. You got to see it. But
Sure.
Paul. That's the problem. You can
Yeah.
see the links in all these documentaries to the Brendan Dassey, Stephen Avery case. What's happened to those two boys is not unique,
No.
but there
That's
are
the
common
shocking thing.
threads.
Yeah.
There are common threads.
Yeah.
And what's the underlying thing? Money,
Yeah.
drugs, law, corruption. So to
Absolutely.
hide all this corruption, it's got to
Yes.
go all the way to the top. It's
It
got
has
to
to.
go.
Yes.
People, the guilt has got nah. Oh
Wouldn't be a
man,
conspiracy. Yeah.
it's not a conspiracy. I call it a plan, a good
Yeah.
plan. You know,
Yeah.
the amount of money involved in. Oh yes, there's a film called 75
Right.
about the drug corruption that occurred in New York by these police officers, right?
Sure.
And they were going to the slums, and the police officer, he finally they caught him, they finally got him arrested. But he said, because forget about going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
All the money and all the drugs are right here in the slums. And so
Yeah.
what they did was, when they raided the place, right, they go, oh, there's $40,000 here. No, there's not. There's $2,000 here. They divvied it up. And then
Yeah.
not only that, they became the protectors of the drug lords.
Yes.
And the drug lords goes, 750,000. You provide protection for me, you get a cut every week. And so they got bags of money each week from the drug lords. And the amazing thing was, the drug lord would go to the police and say, see that guy over there? He's a competitor. Take him out. So the police went there and they raided all his drugs, took his drugs and his money. And these drug guys are going, how did they know? It's because the police were working with the drug lords, right? And you know, if you want corruption, there you go, right? The police were doing it.
Yeah.
Our
Our Italian ancestors have got some things to answer for, maybe, because it's typical mafia, isn't it? Yeah.
It is very much, and you know how we got caught, because they gave one of the officers immunity.
Yeah.
You know how we're going to crack the case, the Brendan Dassey, Stephen Avery. You have to give someone immunity, even if they got blood in their hands.
Yes.
The answer.
Yeah.
But like I said before, Millbilly is right on the money, because now we've got audio evidence of what was happening down there, right?
Yeah.
Before we can speculate, we can say,
Yes.
oh, look, this looks highly suspicious. And I did a lot of work on the bones in the Manitowoc County gravel pit, right?
Yes.
And it's like, and Kathleen Zellner did too. She goes, oh, look, there's another bone. It's like, you just can't believe that. You can't believe that the stupidity and also the amateur nature of Eisenberg and Cohen. It's ridiculous, but they got away with it.
Well, I was going to say, I think in fairness to them, they had no idea that Making a Murderer was going to come out, but for Making a Murderer, nobody would have known anything about it apart from the person. I was going to say another documentary. I think I saw you mention earlier today, Dream Killer, the Ryan Ferguson case.
Oh, that to me, that to me, this is. I know you're not going to believe it, but that's the analogous to Stephen and Brendan, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so what you've got is you've got a guy that has a dream, and 2 years later, he goes, "Oh my God, I think me and my friend we killed that guy. We killed that guy. We killed him." And it's funny because then a friend who he told the dream to rings up Crime Stoppers and said, "You better get down there because this guy's admitted to killing this guy, the reporter, the sports reporter."
Yeah.
So when they interview, I forgot I wrote it down. I forgot the name. Not Ryan Ferguson, the Erickson.
Yeah, Erickson.
The investigator was saying, "Now tell me what happened." "I don't know." "What did you do?" "I don't know." And guess what? They had to drive him to the crime scene. Says, "Do you remember all of this?" "I don't know." And when the investigator was hammering him, he's saying, "Your friend Ryan Ferguson. He's going to blame you for everything, right? Do you want that? Do you want that to happen?" No. Me and him, we did it." And it's funny. What did him in? He said, "How did you kill him?" I don't know. But you choked him. So in other words, the investigator was feeding
everything was
him.
Fed, yeah.
And he goes, No. You didn't use a T-shirt. You didn't use a bungee cord. You used
a belt.
His belt. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's right. I saw Ryan Ferguson stand over him with the belt." And the court was going, "Oh my God, they did do it." The problem was, the investigator told him exactly what to say. Brandon was held by the hand and
Absolutely.
Right? And I saw a video that Jerome did today, the French wrecking crew. It's correct. He's correct. It is child abuse to the extreme. It is child abuse. And that's exactly what they did to Erickson, as to what they did to the Central Park 5, as what they did to Brendan Dassey. The Reed technique. Oh, so you want to be involved in this crime, right? Okay, no problems. We'll solve the crime. The suspect, they let him go. The number one suspect who saw him, right? They let him go, and they nailed these two guys. Who got him out? Who got Ryan Ferguson out?
Somebody called Kathleen Zellner,
Yeah. And
eventually,
what? Yes, took 10 years. But the good thing is they got the prosecutor on the stand, and he's there.
Oh, yes, yeah. I mean, what was really, what was really shocking as well was in one of the I think it was the first trial of Ryan Ferguson, when they had the witness. The lady that actually seen what had happened. Neither the defense nor the prosecution actually said to her, is that person in court today? And normally they go, yes, he's sat over there. The prosecution didn't ask. The defense is wondering, that's a bit odd. They normally say why, and he didn't ask. So nobody asked the simple question of the witness. Was it Ryan Ferguson you saw? And she would have said straight away, she'd have said no.
But the stupid thing is that the guy questioning the boys said there was no forensic evidence
Yes.
that tied either of the boys to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do we have in the Brendan Dassey, Stephen Avery case? No forensic evidence tying, well, especially Brendan, to Teresa Warbucks at all. Right? And one's got to think that those two guys were together, allegedly together with the victim. Mm-hmm. You don't find the victim sharing any DNA with Stephen Avery or Brendan Dassey. There's never a mixture, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Something ain't right, right? Something isn't right.
Well, there was no intersection or interaction or, nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No. And yet, if I could just finish with this comment.
Yeah, sure, please.
And yet we can solve the crime.
Oh, yeah.
Re-extract A23, run it through CODIS, subpoena Scott Tadich, Ryan Hilligus, every male that Teresa Warbucks has come in contact with, you find your killer.
Yeah.
The answer's there. They got the answer. A23, right? Blood on the rear door handle of the Toyota RAV4. And the slated going, oh, yeah, Teresa got put in the back of that RAV4. It can't be her blood because Culhane would have said it. It's not Brendan's blood. It's not Stephen's blood. They're excluded. Otherwise, it would have made front page headlines. So what does Culhane do? Ignores it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You read the trial testimony. It was a miracle that it even got mentioned because they know A23 is not the genomic profile belonging to either Brendan or Stephen. No. It's your killer. He bled. He bled on the doorknob, the back doorknob. Yeah. Right? Only in America would they ignore forensic evidence like that.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Silkman, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. I'm going to let you go. And obviously, I'm here at the cricket ground because we were going to discuss the most important thing of all, which was the cricket. But we'll save that for another time, if that's all right with you. I know you'll be disappointed, but
and you know what? You know what's ironical?
Go on.
Your background is Adelaide Oval, where I
exactly.
You're a cheeky bugger, I tell you.
Well, this is the new Adelaide Oval. I particularly liked the old one. I thought that was quite iconic.
It is, but we've kept part of the scoreboard and the pub. So Paul, anytime you come over, mate, first beer's on me. I promise.
Excellent. Yeah. No, I must admit the first thing I think I ever found out about Adelaide is there not a huge amount of cathedrals there?
Every corner you'll find a cathedral. I'll even take you to a couple if you want to go.
Yeah.
Now there's a beautiful old architecture.
Yeah.
Adelaide is very much a mixture of super modern, but there's a lot of very conservative people that they didn't even want Adelaide Oval built. Right. So it was a miracle of God that it was actually built. So, but it's a beautiful ground. I've been there, and it's magnificent. And you can feel the culture, you can feel the history, and plus there's an old part, the pub, right? Yeah. The old scoreboard. It's all there. I've been to Adelaide Oval when the Poms came over back in the 70s and 80s.
Oh wow!
You couldn't get a seat.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a seat. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of that going on, I tell you. But,
Happy days, the 70s, yeah.
Correct. Oh, no question about it. Beautiful.
Well, back in those... Yeah. Pleasure, absolute pleasure. And yes, must get across to us. Well, even the dude is on about going to Australia, but probably the next time we get across, it'll have to be a bit longer to try and get to a few more places. Adelaide is definitely one of the places.
I think now with the pandemic, you're talking about another year
at least.
Anything,
so
because people are going to be scared, and all places are not going to change. There's going to be hand sanitization. It's for good. It's going to stay for good. It's one of those things.
Well, anyway, as I say, once again, many congratulations on Foul Play, which is it's a YouTube channel, but it's also a community, a great teamwork. Huge congratulations to you for
awesome.
for that, and hopefully get the next 1,000 in next to no time as well.
we got a little while to go, but like I said, the important thing for me and also my team members is we all work together. And we put our best foot forward and collaborate, because by collaboration, someone picks up something and goes, oh my God,
that's right.
That's what that means. Like, for example, like connecting Bushman with the ambulance and the sign out sheet. That's all Millbilly, right? And you're thinking, oh my God, Bushman went in the ambulance with whatever he found and took off, and no one is going to know, right? But if you're not researching, if you're not putting it out there, you're not going to know, right? So by being collaborative, of course, everyone has got their own little territories where they do the majority of their work. But if you get people together with ideas, no matter from what part of the globe, man, the jigsaw puzzle comes together.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right. Yeah, and just being out there, disseminating all this information. So as you say, some people it'll be certain aspects of the crime that they're particularly interested in. When you get them all together, then it works very well. So
correct.
Wow, that's an hour and a half, and it feels like about 20 minutes. No chance to talk cricket. Cricket, we'll save it for next time.
No mentioning sandpaper now.
What? No.
Thank God.
It's been a long time since I did any internal decorating. Don't worry about that.
Excellent. Let's keep it that way.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
So awesome. Finish off for us.
I was just going to say thank you. I was just going to say, look, thank you very much, Paul. I mean, I started off with this case knowing nothing.
Sure.
And so I learned from a lot of good people, and hopefully with Foul Play, what we try and do is we have like an educational approach. Like we're going through MAM 1, MAM 2 to really stimulate people to say, oh, okay, let's see what I could do myself. And so we don't have all the answers, but there are a lot of good people that involve themselves in telephone calls with new people. BB, Sammy, Zoe, Jack 61, Neverly.
Yes,
and they're all involved, and they're all part of the mix. So I'm very fortunate to be there. Very fortunate.
Yes,
But thank you, Paul, for inviting me.
Well, thank you for accepting.
Pleasure.
And thank you to everybody that joined. I'm sorry I was being a bit selfish, keeping Dr. Silkman to myself, not really paying much attention to what was going on the right. To be honest, what I did is I make it very small so that my picture's bigger. So I was struggling at times to see the odd bit of comments. So I apologize if there were any questions out there that we didn't get to, but save them for next time, and we'll cover them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Silkman, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Paul. Take care.
Yeah.
Ciao.